Yes, because
Breathe.
you don't
Breathe.
want
Lonnie
Lonnie mad at you.
Madam Chair, the meeting is live.
Okay, thank you. Give me 1 second here. So I can pull up. Apparently I forgot my.
You want a copy?
Okay, we will call the Public Works meeting to order for Tuesday, January 13th. Sorry, this is the way my thing going.
You're good?
Do you have the agenda?
Yeah, here.
Thank
Oops,
you.
that's the wrong one. Public, here we go, public.
Sorry, I apologize. Okay, thank you. First up, approve the December 9th, 2025 meeting minutes. And did you get a chance to look at them?
I sent them like,
It was like 5 weeks ago. I have no
I know.
idea.
Okay,
Yeah.
so but you had no
No, you
concerns?
finished them at the meeting.
yeah,
Yeah, I know,
I was
yeah.
like,
Okay,
super on the ball with that one.
Yeah, so I mean, they look fine to me. Did you I didn't see
Yeah, I
any
don't have
them.
anything.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. All right, Public Works update.
Okay, I think I sent one out, I don't know if Jeremy got one, did you get an email from me?
I'm not officially on the thing yet, so.
Yeah, I just replied, I didn't even see who I sent it to,
If you give me 2 seconds, I'll have hard copies available for everybody.
I'll just get started real quick.
Yeah.
Stormwater, first thing, one thing is, I brought it up a little bit last time, kind of maybe patterning the council a little bit here, we had a little discussion on, moving forward with grants for stormwater projects last time. Just kind of a brief reminder, like the MSEP grants and the RRGL grants that we get for major projects only come out every 2 years.
Okay.
This is an application year, applications are due in May. I had Great West put together a task order amendment for task order 33, which was the stormwater PER that we had finished up. And we're just gonna be tacking onto that, hiring Great West to file applications for one, an MSEP grant, which I think it's 5 years, they do a reassessment of communities to determine how much money you can receive, and it's based on things like economic factors, disadvantaged communities, blah, 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 blah. In the past, we've only been able to receive $500,000 from MSEP. We got lucky on the last evaluation, now we can go up to $750,000. So that's good.
Great.
The RRGL grant, which is through Department of Natural Resources, is the other grant. That one's only good for $125,000. And this year, there's a third grant for this funding cycle that we can put in for that we haven't before. I think it's kind of a one-time thing. It's kind of like the EPA grant we got for streets. It's called the Montana Resiliency Fund. And basically, we wrote a letter of intent to file for this last week. It was accepted. Our stormwater project, I believe, is going to score really well, both on all three of these, because we have stormwater tied directly to sewer. And that's no good. That's against the law. So that's gonna help us score high on all these grants. I don't know if you remember in the stormwater PER presentation, at the end, they went through, okay, this is what we identified needs done, this is what it costs, and this is a funding strategy. And the first two grants I talked about were part of that, and the third part was money that we would have to either borrow or come up with.
Right.
The goal with this is, hopefully we'll get the resiliency fund money, carry that gap. We don't know, they won't know what their awards are until they get their applications in, reviewed, and accepted. I think the minimum amount they'll award is $300,000. We're gonna put in for $1.2 million on the resiliency grant.
Nice.
So basically that's kind of where stormwater's at, and this would be for a project in 2028.
Okay.
And basically, I've got a task order amendment for the mayor to sign. We've talked about it, in the past. This is part of what's been approved through the PER, so we've just signed these in the past, and went forward. Any questions on that process? What we're doing there?
Did we get that done and is it ready to go?
It's ready to go. I got the final draft here, ready for signature. Wastewater, we have and this is just for your information, we have a virtual walkthrough with Department of Commerce on Thursday of this week. I've never had a virtual walkthrough, but,
Does that mean you have to have your phone?
Or that, or do you put on a
that'll
virtual?
close out the wastewater project completely, I believe. We do have the draft plans for phase 2 and 3 in hand. We're out, field checking those right now. Hopefully have all of our revisions done in the next 2 weeks, and that'll go out for DEQ review. Water, the 16th bypass project was scheduled to start up after the holidays. We're waiting on parts, so it's still the same as it was last time. We did receive the 2026 water project plans, draft plans, and the same thing. We're currently reviewing them. We're probably going to go do a handed plan walkthrough with Great West next week, and then those will go up for review.
Jeremy, if you have any questions on any of these projects, because you haven't been to these meetings, please feel free to ask.
I've been watching some of the recordings.
Okay, good.
If you want to get caught up, you can come up to the office anytime, schedule something, and I can run through all this with you, kind of get you up to speed. EDA projects, you'll see there's a claim for that in the claims tonight. It's to help pay for their bond and stuff. We did a very short notice of supersede and then a cancellation due to weather, just so they could get that in. And then this spring we'll start that project. Sidewalk incentive program hopefully is going to get voted on tonight. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it will. Yeah.
And we've talked about that. Any questions? For tonight?
Sandy did have a question, and I think I know the answer to it, but her question was, if someone does a 50-50 sidewalk project and we pay the homeowner their 50% and then they're responsible to pay the contractor, what if they don't pay the contractor?
No, the way I wrote it up is we're paying the contract 50%.
Okay,
And
so
then
what if
the contractor is responsible to collect the money?
Okay, okay. So, but her question was, if they don't pay the contractor and there's a lien filed on it, but my understanding is the lien goes on the house, not the sidewalk. So there would be no lien against the city. It would be against the homeowner.
Well, I guess,
Did you ever run into that in Shoto?
no, I didn't, and I don't know that you can put a lien on, I'd have to ask Jennison. I don't
Okay.
know if you can put a lien on the sidewalk.
I don't think you can, because it's a property, it's a
There's
property
no
tax,
piece of
it's a
paper.
property tax lien, and it goes against the property, is my understanding. And like with a contractor, they file a lien against the property.
I could ask Jennison about that.
Okay.
Get some clarification.
But I don't know if we can get that clarification in the next hour.
No,
No,
we're not gonna
but-
get it.
And it looked like those are just property by property, basically, like there's,
Right.
you could coordinate maybe with your neighbors to get some contiguous sidewalk, I guess. but
Correct, yes.
There's not
Yeah.
like an explicit incentive or anything.
I mean, I
to do that.
think in
Right.
that, in the form, that everybody signs an
Yeah,
agreement,
right.
and that can be edited still. Maybe we make the contractor sign that form too, because it does say in there that the contractor is responsible for
Collecting.
collecting money.
So just add a
from both
line,
parties. That
okay,
means he's got to write an invoice to each, and I think
okay.
once it gets to that stage, then it's between him and the homeowner.
Right.
We're out of it.
Okay, and that's my understanding, but maybe that might be a good idea, is to have the contractor sign off on it as well on
I
the
would,
form.
it's a good point, and I will ask Jennifer about it, but I don't think it's something we can clarify.
Okay,
Right.
And we could pass something else additional before we start doing any work on it. The other thought that I had that kind of hit me is that we have this set, we start accepting applications July 1, but we've already allocated this money, so as soon as we approve it,
Yeah,
We can start,
we're open for applications.
Exactly, yeah.
And the reality is, we could spend 50 grand between now and the end of June, and another 50 grand between July 1 and the end of the year, if there was that, or that could bleed into the next year too, so.
parks, nothing much there. One thing I didn't put on here is, been working with Tim, this is probably come up in the first board update too, and we're trying to help them get a request for proposals out for a design and kind of budgeting,
yeah.
portion of the project, and, it's moving along. I've got Great West looking at it right now. They got back to me today with some comments. We've got a few little things to clean up in terms of an easement that runs through that property, but it's gonna be an easy thing to do, it's a matter of paperwork. But it's moving along, with a few bumps and hurdles.
I have a question about that. Has there been any estimate about how we gonna fill that area?
I think that'll come out during the design phase.
Okay.
I mean, I could guess, but I think we'll let the engineers
Okay,
tell
all
us.
right,
how to
okay,
do
I
it.
just,
That's kind of what this phase is about,
Okay.
you know, answer that question precisely. Cool, we're gonna have a meeting this month, haven't figured out exactly when, but it's coming up, right? Yeah. Solid waste, I did reach out to Republic today, theoretically, they're gonna call tomorrow and set up a meeting with Public Works and the city attorney and whoever else from the city that would like to be there. So let's cross our fingers and hopefully get a call by the end of the week.
And the only thing I'll add to that, where it says to finalize the contract, it's to finalize what we're gonna propose that council authorizes me to sign. I just wanna make sure that nobody's signing that until council says yes.
No.
Okay.
Last thing is, we budgeted this year to get a used dump truck for the max so that we can haul material, snow with. We did pick one up and we're just kind of running through its paces right now and getting it ready to go. I think it's gonna be a good truck. Price was good and, what we have to do is pretty minimal. So, hope might have it all ready to go by tomorrow. And I think that's more or less it. Any questions?
no. But I have a curious question. It's not important. But what's this winter like to you all? Is it just great because you can get caught up, or is it,
It's
or is it a
been here
pain?
for a while, and then it becomes a little bit of a challenge. Like, I would love to get up to Coal Miners Park. We got all that material we filtered and bring that up some more. We did bring the coal car that sat in front of the,
Mhm. Cedarwood?
what's it called, Earlywood?
Cedarwood.
Cedarwood.
Birdiewood is the spoon.
Yeah.
We have both.
We have a lot of.
But we hauled that up there, so I thought we'd put that in the center.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Tom Foley's idea. But again, the ground's frozen, and I'm afraid if we go up there and start doing dirt work, it's just gonna all get funky. So, it's a mixed blessing having snow
Okay,
there.
all right, I was just curious.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's probably kind of hard to keep
I-
everybody busy.
I
I gotta run
have-
this upstairs.
I have some, personal errands scheduled the first week of February that will be completely destroyed by snow, so I predict it'll snow every day and we'll get 4 feet that week, so.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I was thinking today that we should reach out to K2 and see if they wanna start doing something, and I thought, oh, that'll make it turn to winter for the street project,
Yeah, definitely.
but probably just be patient.
Yeah.
Weird.
Okay. Okay, is that everything?
That's all I
Okay.
got. That's it.
All right, well, Ann just went upstairs.
Oh, it is on there, action tonight resolution?
Yeah, so, just had that We're on Parks Board and Sustainability Board update.
Well, sustainability meets next week.
Okay.
Parks Board met last week, and, we'll talk about, the disc golf course MOU tonight.
Yes.
That's on the agenda.
Yes.
I think that was, I haven't heard from Tom or, his girlfriend, I forgot her name.
Melissa?
Yeah. So I think everything went well at land use and planning last night.
Yeah, they went over it.
Okay.
We got maps and they showed us all sorts of stuff. Yeah, there were a few concerns, but I don't know, I didn't.
I anticipate there's gonna be some questions. I was
Mm-hmm.
hoping I was gonna have some time and schedule to reach out and let them know, but I think there's gonna be some questions tonight.
Okay, well,
Yeah,
I don't know
we-
if they're coming, so maybe,
We told them to, get on Zoom if they,
oh, okay,
so we'd have questions.
okay. So they know that, they maybe should sign up,
Mhm.
sign in, okay.
This is for the frisbee golf.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
No, it's for disc golf.
Disc golf.
yes, don't say frisbee golf. So, yeah, and I don't know if we want to go over those questions now or just wait till the meeting.
Well, I think so, parts that do pertain to Public Works, that are on there that I think we can go ahead and discuss now. The feedback from Parks and from Land Use and Planning is the temporary shed on Shelley's Field, yes, that fits in the coordinate with Public Works and do it. And then Parks wanted to have a couple people that reached out to you just to offer their input. It's still in your category to put, this is a temporary shed up at the soccer field. At 10 by 12, yeah, and so that, I'm gonna basically, I'm gonna do an anti-Dan Clark move. Dan would say, don't ask him, because that sets a precedence, but I'm gonna ask him anyway. So my understanding is, the way this process is going, this would be something that's Public Works Director, is everybody cool with that? My understanding up till now is that they're fine with that.
For the shed,
The shed.
because
But
it's mobile.
This is for
Yeah,
the temporary
temporary.
shed that's mobile, and it has to be
It doesn't have to.
120 square feet or less,
Yeah.
rather than 200 square feet or less, because it's not for personal use on private property.
Right,
So it
but
actually
it
is a smaller, more restricted
Doesn't
use.
have to be tied down or permanently attached.
Yeah,
No.
he'll work with Brian on what we need to do for that.
Okay.
They just had an information. The other thing that was gonna be up for discussion tonight is the disc golf MOU that they proposed in.
Mhm.
One of the concerns that's come up since last night, Ann,
Mm.
is it's actually a multiple part, and that is half of what's in that schedule is not part of Coal Miners Park. And to make things worse, they've been building on stuff that is not inside of the park. So it's city-owned land, but
Not part.
there's been installations and buildings go in even just within the last couple of months. That since I've got a picture of June and I've got a picture that I took today, and there's new stuff that's there. So Parks Board can't authorize that because it's not a park. So I think there's a few, I don't know that it's dead in the water, but I think it turned into we have a cart before a horse. We have to make that a park before we authorize.
A user group to build things on it.
And they
A
heard
park
this last
user.
night? They heard-
No.
No.
It-
Oh,
it-
no,
this-
they just went over it.
That's what I'm saying, I wanted to reach out to them if I get a minute or two, just to say, hey, this came up, because I don't want it to be an ambush, but, and I don't think it will be anyway, I expect council to be, but it was one of, it's like, this is why we have 6 people who look at these things. And why it always comes to us for a trial run before it comes for final
Is there a
action.
picture of that for me?
There is,
A
I
copy?
actually have it,
Okay,
because
okay.
what happened is in the packet, I think there was a blank page where it is, I think it was maybe upside down in the copy, so, but I do have a copy that I will hand out.
And I do have a copy of the dedicated park, but it's very hard to tell what's actually park, because the whole thing
Mhm.
that's shown is city-owned land, but that also includes the high school and the city-owned land that's not part of the dedicated
the-
park.
And isn't the tennis court not part of the park?
That is also not part of the
Right,
park, and that was one of the things, and that's kind of where it came up, is because we had identified before that happens, were we gonna rent it to the high school? Were we gonna make it part of the park? And there's, that's something that has to happen before anything happens there too.
Right.
Is there a procedural reason why it has to be in the park? It's city-owned land, can you,
The difference is that the Parks Board has no authority over anything that's not a park.
But the council has.
So the council
authority
has
over
authority,
city
yeah.
land,
Oh,
so
yeah.
could the council say,
Yeah, the
we're
council-
fine with it expanding out?
Right.
Council,
With the exception of that area,
council can absolutely
northwest.
do that, but then we're back to repeatable, scalable, the same way today,
Mm-hmm.
And I
6
think,
months from now,
and
10 years from
personally, I
now.
think that there needs to be a lot of, public discourse on whether, you know, before we put more land into Coal Miners Park, as far as city-owned land goes, because what else could we do with it? Could we build housing on it? Could we build a police station? You know, I mean, we need to open up that whole conversation.
I'm just envisioning
Yeah.
if you have a basket pole.
Right, that's something that's easily removed, but,
Are you coming for a public works meeting?
I'm not, I'm looking for the police station.
oh.
Okay.
I'm in the wrong spot.
That's okay. So, and I guess, you know, my question tonight would be, I want to know the exact boundaries of Coal Miners Park in relationship to what they're proposing on their,
I think where we found it last time had to do with the rental.
I found some drawings of Coal Miners Park when they first put it together of the shop from like in the eighties.
well, in 2016 is when they had it surveyed
Oh,
and, dedicated.
okay.
So we have to go by, we need a copy of the actual surveyed document. And the surveyed document that we have with that resolution does show like the boundary for the high school lease. And then there's like the straight line across from First Street straight up. So it would be on the very edge, actually, of Shelley's Field, if that's the boundary of Coal Miners Park. And then the rest is still city-owned land, down around the creek and stuff, and on there. And I don't know if they did that on purpose to protect that coal shelf, that cap that they have there by the creek, so that no one could develop it as part of the park, or?
I wanna say that there's
I
one
think
with the
they
high
did,
school
that's
lease.
the section line right there.
Right, okay.
That was easy.
Easy, that could be too, yeah, so,
I think there's one with the high school lease that actually showed the parks as, because I remember looking it up when we were looking at it, when the tennis conversation first came up, however
so
many
to
years
go on,
ago. By the way, this
City of
chart
Rutland.
also shows,
So I looked up, but it didn't.
in its own little way,
You
I
have to
think
look at the
that road that
resolution
used to be,
on
that Mike
the
mentioned
resolution.
earlier, there's an easement.
Mhm.
There's a road across where those trees got planted last year. And of course, it goes up straight now and hangs either right or left. And we've already talked to them, so the attorney's writing up the paperwork, and then we just have to, it's a paperwork process, but it's
So
one.
this
we'll
came
do.
up last night at a meeting they were attending, but they don't know about it.
It didn't
How
come
did
up
that-
last.
No, it
didn't
came
come
up, it came up today when I had not seen this map
Okay.
until this afternoon. And I was looking at that and I'm like, and it really mainly hit me over here on the west side of the park.
West side, okay.
And part of that is absolutely part of Coal Miners, this front part, but they've got one of their poles going across Northwestern Energy's private land.
Mhm.
And then I
We
don't
did
know.
talk about that last.
We did
And I
talk about
don't think that this over here it shows up here, it says Park Exception B, and I don't know what that means. And I don't know if that means it's actually surveyed out.
Yeah, what was that zoning?
And it says Park Exception A, and point of, I don't know what that says, you can't, and so it'd be nice to get it's in the resolution 3417, it has and then it shows this straight line, there's First Street, and here's the high school, I should have it up there, but I don't. Here's the high school lease boundary, and then this line just goes straight across. I don't know if you can see that.
This may make it seem like it actually is part of the.
Okay. So it is the Coal Miners Park adjacent to the high school lease boundary, or is it the?
Good news is we have 2 weeks to figure it out.
Yeah, so there's just questions, so, like.
I think I double checked that, not because I don't believe you, I just, because it's new and, you know.
Well, this is in, the map that's with the resolution when we dedicated the Coal
No, it
Miners
was-
Park,
2016.
2016,
August.
yeah. So,
I think it's appropriate questions, right? And I said, that's why we have 2 weeks to look
Right.
at it and research it.
And they've been putting like, new holes and
mhm.
stuff up there.
Yeah.
Like, there's one that's labeled, it's number 10, I think, on this, let me look at their map. I want to say this is, in fact, let me get it to you.
10 is in like the
It's
They get a
got a
dedicated
sign on it right now that says number 9.
Well, the 10 is near the designated tennis court area. 9
Right, but
is
when,
almost,
but they don't have it labeled as 10 up there right now, they have
Oh.
it labeled as 9.
oh, but 9 is actually right next to us.
Yeah,
High
this is,
school.
these are the proposed ones, no,
I do.
these are the proposed
There's a
holes.
hill right here.
Right here.
Yeah, no, I noticed that, like, the amount of real estate it takes up. And so I was, this area, when Chelsea pulled it up last night, it was public use, designated public use, but it wasn't designated park.
So, yeah, so all of those over on that side, specifically, I mean, 12 might be okay, 11 and 12 might be okay, but 13, the hole is right on
Northwest.
it crosses Northwestern Energy's
Mhm.
lot to
And I
get
think they
to
said they
it.
were gonna have a conversation with
Yeah.
Northwest. to
Yeah,
figure
and
that
then 14 and 15 and 14 and 15, I don't think that's dedicated park. It says park exception, so I don't know what that means.
I guess that's my question. Does it need to be a dedicated park in order to put up a basket if it's still city property?
Or
Yeah,
is
if
it, like you
council
said,
could have, we could have, yeah. Well, the
Like,
problem
could it
is,
be like an addendum in the MOU or something? that,
Yeah.
like, if the use is determined to be something else, like if you want to put up apartments, then you'll move your basket
right,
or
and,
something.
well, and part of it though is when it comes to resort tax, we can use resort tax for parks.
You cannot use resort tax outside of parks, so that would be another factor for it.
I did today.
You know, if they
So
wanted
they'd
to
have
help maintain
privately
it.
fund it or something.
Yes,
Or
exactly.
so like, look at the money, money for maintaining or building it, and that's true for the tennis.
And,
as
but,
well.
and the other
Would
part
have to
though
be-
is they, in the MOU, they want us to carry their liability insurance for the park, which we already do.
Mhm.
But as soon as they go off the park boundary, they're not gonna be covered.
Okay, that's another factor. Sure.
And tennis courts is clear what their situation is. I mean, the tennis folk.
Yeah,
Mhm.
because we had talked about that, and at the time, and by the way, this is worth mentioning, just to keep everybody in the loop. At the time, the thinking had been that what we would do is we would lease that additional land, and that's why I remember, because we confirmed that wasn't part of the park when we were having that discussion. We would lease that additional land to the high school, and then they would be responsible for maintaining. But then our public works director raised a really, really good point, and that is, if we lease that land to them, we ought not to be putting in, even though it's a school district
Parking
facility that the public has access to. I mean, you could call up and say you wanted to reserve the
Mhm.
track right now, and you could go have your family reunion and have the track at the high school. That's in their MOU. But the city didn't put money into that. And Chelsea, or not Chelsea, Sandy, or that's what Jody, would you like to go by Jody?
That would be nice, thank you.
Pick a name, pick a name.
Jody's point is, so Mike's point was, we ought not to be putting city dollars into a facility that isn't ours. And so his suggestion was, we should maintain it. We can write the MOU so they're responsible for maintaining it, but we shouldn't make it part of a lease. And that actually takes on even additional meaning with
Well,
Jody's
it could be
input.
either way, I mean, it could go the other way, we don't put any money into it.
Yeah, we don't
Right.
put,
It
yeah,
don't lease to the school, but I don't think we can put money into it.
And what do
and
these
lease-
mean when it's?
right. And Jody's point is, if it's not a park, we can't put money into it.
Technically,
I, you know.
Not under the parks
The money
clause.
into it just came up at Wednesday night's
Mhm.
meeting, wasn't there, but I mean, that's where I think the talk about resort tax dollars for tenants came up, because
Mhm.
I don't remember us talking about resort tax dollars for tenants
we,
before.
we did talk about it at the resort tax board meeting, you might not have been at that one.
And budget.
And I think that actually, I think resort tax money can be spent on a capital project like a tennis court, but the
maintenance of
the
parks.
maintenance of it is where, unless it's a dedicated park, it's a very gray area with resort tax on whether or not we could maintain it.
How hard is it to dedicate just the tennis court?
It's not hard,
Resolution.
it's a resolution.
Then,
It's not an issue, it's just, the only thing that would come into play is if we decided to lease the land to the high school,
sure,
and
then you're
then,
leasing a park and that doesn't.
yeah, and that doesn't work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they can't do both, yeah. it's
Yeah,
either
we,
or.
yeah, so, and that's
And
a
it'll
conversation
It'll
for
still
them.
take time, because it's gonna be property vetted, it's not gonna show up and be done.
Right.
But it's not a difficult process, it's just a process.
So, yeah, it's not, it's just, for tonight, I guess, I don't know that with these concerns and these questions, I'm not gonna be ready to vote on it at our next meeting until I know where the boundaries of Coal Miners Park are,
And
you
you're
know.
saying, like, you're so, yeah, that, the areas say, on this map, literally say park exception A and park exception B, and then this says something, no, like, I can't read it, I don't know what that
I know.
What does that one say? I can't see it, it's in bold.
Well, like I said.
Point
Point of something exception B, point of something exception B.
Mm-hmm.
It's not park, I don't know what that is.
Right, so
And then there's park exception A,
yeah, A and B, which are,
would really,
And
point
this is
of,
different from what I saw because
point of
the
excluded
high school
exception
isn't
A.
in the park.
No, the high school is on city-owned land. See,
Yeah, we leased it, but
but the city, this lot
Mhm.
that the city owns is not broken up. It's one
That
big
whole
lot,
that
that
border
big, one
is-
big parcel. And then that's why they surveyed it, and they have the survey line for the lease to the high school, and then they have the survey line for Coal Miners Park.
mm-hmm.
But I'm not
I know
obviously a
Yellowstone
civil
Wildlife.
engineer, so I would like to know which one of these lines is the actual line
which
for,
line is the park?
is the park moving forward? And what does these park exception mean? Is that
Yeah.
part of the park,
Does that
or
mean
is
those-
that,
Can be,
It should be in that 2016
that's what we're,
survey and resolution, correct?
that's what I'm looking at,
That's what
is
we're looking
the-
at, but
the
it's-
map.
it's
Not clear.
fair,
not
literally,
clear.
not clear at all.
I don't know what that means, and I guess, I mean, Red Lodge Surveying did the survey. I don't know if they
And we can
could
check with the county and with Kate.
yeah, and see if she can explain this map to us.
I went
Where
to the county yesterday and pulled up everything I could as far as easements on that parcel.
Yeah,
And didn't see anything about dedication of the park in the documents. Because I had to go through for the whole parcel, because like you said, it's all one piece. and
Yeah,
Find all the easements and then figured out anywhere in that part where.
Yeah, there is a resolution 3417 that is specifically where it was dedicated as a park, so.
see, and it does show the easement on here. It's a
Have you seen
30-foot
this?
wide easement,
Mhm.
and then there's a well, and a well,
Doesn't
and a
make-
20-foot wide easement.
Yeah, and that, one of those easements
And then the
is
Yellowstone
road that we
Wildlife
were talking
Sanctuary
about.
is surveyed
I'm-
out.
that whole section that says park, like, that's where, because it is in the area where it says park exception B and park exception A, which,
Yeah.
if you look at where they want to put their holes, those are technically right within.
Those.
But this, what is this? I don't, what is that?
That's,
Okay.
that's, is that Beartooth Industries?
Whoa, is that what you're getting out of that?
Okay,
Oh.
yeah,
Yeah.
that could be.
Because that was one of the
Yeah,
questions,
that's-
is part of that stuff
that's
good
the
for expanding the
Recycling
resource,
center?
Recycling center?
Okay. Okay, so now go down here. I'm sorry. Don't you have a touch screen?
I do, but you mess it up when I'm using my mouse.
So this is so there's the high school, and then here's First Street. And you can see this line goes straight across like that, and then it goes up like that.
I think that's the section line, that's the section
I was
corner.
even there when I was
Okay.
when we did that.
I don't know if this line means anything,
Okay,
other than it's a section line, you know, it's,
No.
okay,
but I'm not 100% sure on that.
okay.
That would be a Red Lodge surveying question.
Okay.
I do know that the section line does run right through there.
Right through it, right?
Yeah, I don't know about this one.
Man,
That's where
Phoenix Cut, Sound
But I
Bar,
don't know if do they identify the
Found
section line
angle
as a
pose.
boundary?
I don't really know. Set angle pose, found angle pose. They have a legend here, but manhole, no
Like,
manhole.
really hard to read.
I know. There's gotta be a bigger map of
There
this.
is a bigger one at the county.
Like, what's a set angle? I think that's a set angle pose? I don't know. But anyway, it'd be nice to
So,
clarify
so it was
this
twenty
before we.
sixteen when it was dedicated, and that was part of the 2015 Parks Plan that called out the need to do that. In case anybody wants to go and look it up, because you can't look them up by name, you have to go by date. It is on it's from 2016, and it's like on page 8 or 9, I can't see which page I'm on, I just went back a bunch of pages.
Hmm.
So it was bunch, to answer your question, it's a bunch of questions that have kind of creeped up during the day without the time to completely do the homework on them.
I don't suppose the park could be defined based on property instead of just, space.
Well, it was surveyed, and it was in the resolution that dedicated it. It said that the land identified on the attached Exhibit A shall hereinafter be dedicated a public park and shall be known as Coal Miners Park.
I'm just curious if you could say these 4 basket poles are also included in the park.
I think no, because those are, we want to do it with permanent things, so you could say, you could either use GPS points, you could use roads, you could use things that aren't so easily moved as
Yeah.
something that we heard about last night, oh, we could take that down in a weekend. That's not something we should anchor a park on.
Right.
So, Mike, do you know why there's an easement right through that lot that the tennis court is on?
Yes, that used to be the road to get to the
Oh.
sanctuary. That's the one we were
Oh, okay.
talking about earlier.
So that's really not there anymore?
No,
Okay.
I mean, we're gonna draw up
There's
some
paperwork there that we need, that we have to
Okay.
take a formal process to make it be not there.
There,
Yeah.
okay, okay.
So it's there, but it's invisible.
Okay, okay.
The actual.
Yeah, well, and you can see it on this where it looks like, yeah, it just through there. Okay.
So there's questions.
Well, we'll just leave it at it, there's
I mean,
questions.
one thing
Spiral.
that would help with the whole situation up there is like Second Street.
Mm-hmm.
There is no technical survey right away there. It just starts at that southern boundary and goes north all the way to the road to nowhere, basically.
Oh,
It might be worth considering just having that surveyed and all platted properly, because like Chambers going north of the high school,
yeah.
that is not a proper right of way that's located or anything.
No, because it's all
Road
blank.
runs through there.
Right, it's all on city-owned land.
I think it would be cleaner and nicer if we had it that way, and maybe in the process of cleaning all this up, we just go all the way and get the right of ways put in.
Okay. And get
An
it,
idea, I don't know.
yeah, no, I think
See
it,
what Dennison says too,
okay.
you know, but I feel like that would be, because like right now, I was looking at the tennis courts, you know, what would the setback be? Well, there's no boundary of the right of way, so where do you measure from?
Right.
Right.
You just measure over, so you measure the setback plus 60, but
Yeah,
Cooper Avenue is 70 feet right away, and Second is 60, so it's all
No
messed
fun,
up.
yeah.
It'd be
I
worth
get that.
cleaning it up.
definitely, yeah, and then get these questions answered as well, so where everything is at. Okay. All right, so,
Well, I wasn't expecting that.
If this dark line on the outside of this is the park boundaries,
no,
that answers.
that's city-owned land boundary, the dark line. That's city-owned land boundary,
Found,
because it includes the high
All
school.
the way to,
Yeah. So where is the line that says what the park is
It's not there.
in here? That's,
That, I mean, unless it's the one that goes to straight across, or, because here's the line for the high school lease, so you
Mhm.
don't really know if it just meets up to that, or is it the straight line that goes across and then goes that way, and then goes down and follows? I don't know, it doesn't say.
I know, it gives the certificate survey number and it doesn't,
if you got, would you like me to go talk to Kate at surveying tomorrow and have her look into this?
Yeah, that would be great, unless you can, she should be able to find,
Yeah, unless you wait for,
the
Yeah.
county may have,
the county on the cadastral just shows one big,
no, they have the vellum of this piece that's
Oh.
4 feet wide and 3 feet long.
Oh,
is what I'm
okay.
saying.
so you can
Yeah,
actually read
recorded.
the stuff?
Yeah.
So Coal Miners Park, see, it says Coal Miners Park, Track 1B, Certificate of Survey, 1343, second amended.
it's amended and.
So,
And they would have all of the amendeds,
Mm-hmm.
maybe.
And then
there's
the high
something
school
more that's
lease
in
site.
there.
Part of the Nature Center subdivision, track
And then
1B.
but I don't know, yeah.
Exhibit to describe lands to be dedicated to park. Really, it's not a very good description.
No, it isn't at all.
Well, that's fun.
Yeah, it is.
I think the answer is, if you wanna reach out to Kate tomorrow, and I can put it on my list to reach out to the county and stuff too, we ought to see how much of this homework we can chase down by the end of this week, if it's gonna be up for action
Yeah,
in 2 weeks.
that sounds good. Okay. All right, what time are we at? 10 after 10. Okay, so next, we have the sidewalk improvement project. It looks like on that application that it already does say that the contractor is in charge of getting the money
Yeah,
from the
that's one
owner,
thing
but I wouldn't
I
be,
would suggest is we add the contract signature to that.
yeah, I'm not opposed to that at all.
And that way, I think it gives us,
Okay.
it answers Sam's question.
Yeah. And they should be okay with that because, you know, a lot of you sign an agreement to do the work or whatever.
If you
Yeah.
want our half of the money, you'll sign here.
Yeah.
That says you won't. There was, in my copy, I think it looked like we got a duplicate copy, because
I saw that.
we were working to make sure that it had the same language. Sometimes it was called the 50/50, but it's, we really worked to make sure that the resolution is to approve the Red Lodge Sidewalk Improvement Program. So then there's the description of the appendix that does call it the sidewalk improvement, and inside it says annual 50/50 sidewalk. And so I think that addresses the naming there, and then I think it was just in there twice.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's
Except
got
for-
scanned twice, so.
No, I know what the difference is, and it's, if you look at everything in front of the summary, the second one is the one that is the one that's in the packet. The first one, if you look at the stuff in front of the summary, the one says, the city mayor and the city council of the city of Red Lodge have determined the blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
If you go down to the second one, that's the one that I intended to be in the packet, which says, the city, in the interest of public health and safety and welfare, has incorporated public sidewalks as part of the public infrastructure plan. City Code of City of Red Lodge states property owners are responsible for the construction and maintenance of public sidewalks adjacent to their property. To help realize the plan, the city has established an incentive program known as the Red Lodge Sidewalk Incentive Program. It's 50/50 cost share, and then it kind of explains. So it's the introduction that's different.
That's that one right there, yeah.
Okay, because I was like,
That's
It's the introduction that's in that.
one.
Okay.
The second one.
The draft copy that was kind of written like, was, I don't know, something like our opinions and proclamations, which we're doing, but I thought the explanation was better.
Okay, and so the resolution is above that.
Yeah, the resolution is above that.
So, but the first part of that, right after the resolution, it scratched that, that's gone, that needs to be gone.
Which part are you talking about?
The Red Lodge Sidewalk Improvement Plan right after the resolution.
Yeah, the one that starts out with
that's
one paragraph in front of the summary.
yeah,
That's gone.
Those 3 pages are dead.
okay, 1, 2, 3.
When it didn't even show it
Oh,
all.
and then there's another one. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So it's the second one that we're passing, that'll be part of,
That's the
okay.
appendix A or whatever
Oh, page
it's referred to.
21, not page 18.
I know, isn't it? It's been it's been a few weeks since we've done this, we're out of practice.
What are you talking
Okay, so the only change then we're making is to add a line for the contractor to sign as well.
And that's on the actual
Application, which is included in there.
application, which is there, and it's a 1-page.
Yes,
Mhm.
so this might make it.
Well,
two-page.
actually, no, so I have this,
Page 24.
Mike, this is says 50/50 sidewalk improvement program application.
Yep, that's an application, and that's.
This is the consent
Oh,
for
consent
construction.
construction?
Yeah,
And
just,
so what we need to do is we need to change the naming so that it's the Red Lodge Sidewalk Improvement Program,
Take out the 50.
Okay.
SLIP and program, and then this is the Red Lodge Sidewalks Improvements Program there too.
Yeah.
And then on the consent for construction,
We're gonna add a contractor signature that says, well, if we have owner and city, and we're gonna add contract
add contractor,
to the agreement for the signature.
Yeah.
with signature, and then it's also gonna be, that they're only coming to the city for half, and they're going
Well,
to the
they're,
property.
basically, if they're responsible, the same thing it says here, a
It's the same.
contractor will be
City will not be responsible for any charge, okay, yeah.
Contractor will be responsible for collection of owner's share, contractor will be responsible for collection of city's share.
Okay, and so all we do is we just have them sign it.
That they're acknowledging responsibility to collect the money from
Perfect.
the individual parties.
That makes all
Okay.
the sense in the world.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Okay, so who's gonna make those amendments since this is up for action?
So on this, you want me to change,
We're crossing
the
out
city of Red Lodge, Montana, or Red Lodge, okay, so instead of city of Red Lodge, Montana, we'll say Red Lodge Sidewalk Improvement Program.
Not the 50/50 sidewalk
Yeah,
improvement. Cross out the 50/50.
yeah.
Yeah, City of Red Lodge,
No, that was my mistake.
No, you're good.
so actually replace City of Red Lodge, Montana 50/50 sidewalk and program with Red Lodge Sidewalk Improvement Program. So it's
Okay.
you can take the title off of the appendix.
Okay.
So that's an amendment.
City of
Need
Red Lodge.
consent for construction. Okay.
And then that's the same thing on the application too.
Do we have the application here?
I think it was.
Yeah, it's a single page.
Up above. The one.
It was in
above.
front of it.
Yep. It says, yeah, it's literally the draft right in front of it. You
It's only a half a page
Did I go
long.
too
Yeah,
fast?
Yeah.
slow down.
Okay, there's the resolution.
And
Then
I'm okay
there's-
with the language that says if you wish to participate in the 50/50 sidewalk improvement plan, you could change it there, but as long as the title's right, I think we're good.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
So, okay, and so that's on, and then change it to Red Lodge Sidewalk Improvement Program application.
Yep.
Okay,
And then also an amendment to add a contractor signature on the consent for construction.
signature
Big.
of contractor.
And I don't know that this is an amendment, just make sure to clarify, don't include this one, do include this one.
Yeah,
Yeah, page.
And if council wants to read through
Change.
that single paragraph versus the 3-paragraph version and confirm your thought,
Mhm.
okay. Okay, perfect. Any other changes to the sidewalk improvement
I'm
program?
glad we got through that before meeting tonight.
I know, yes.
Mhm.
Okay, are we good? Okay. I think, we're 20 minutes after. For future priorities and projects, once, I do think we need to hit the residential trash cans, creating that ordinance, that program. So we have that spelled out. I think that'll probably be one of our next big things that we do. Noxious weeds and ordinance, reviewing that. I'd rather get the trash cans done first, really work through that, and then do noxious weeds.
Did you get an update on, do we have any cassettes yet of those extra cassettes that are, pardon?
Yeah.
Okay,
What?
What?
the cassettes for trash cans
Oh,
that have, so we've had non-functioning trash cans and they couldn't get them.
yeah,
So they ordered 200 on our behalf and they've given us, we have 10, so we can change them out real time. It's a two-edged sword in that, it gives us the ability to get it addressed quickly and
Right.
make sure we don't have bear problems, but it's also, we're taking on our responsibility that's really theirs, and one of the things hopefully is in the contract that they'll respond within X hours, but in the meantime, we have something that we can do, and I'll grab one for you, because I said, I know I have a neighbor that doesn't have a cassette at all.
That doesn't work very well.
We
Pardon?
can get a
It doesn't work very well without
on the one that doesn't work.
Well, it's great if you store it inside, it doesn't keep bears out very well.
Right. It's convenient.
or even dogs or anything.
Gravity closest to can, but the bears can
All right.
outfight gravity.
So, if you guys are okay, we'll, start talking about, trash cans at our next meeting. And,
Do we have all the information we need for that, governing residential trash cans? Do we-
well, I think that's what we need to have start that conversation.
Okay.
And, on how we want it. Do we want it to be per residential lot? Or, do we want to continue doing the number of water hookups hookups that you have? If you have 2 hookups, you get charged for 2 cans. Jeremy, this came up because people were complaining because they don't have 2, actual residences on their properties, but they built a guest house that they just use. And, for an office or something like that, and they're getting charged for 2 garbages. Because they have 2 water and sewer. And now, the way that the way it's written, you wouldn't have to have a separate water and sewer hookup, is that correct? If you build, if you're on the same property and you just want to put a guest house up? You don't have to pay another
You can
impact
put an
fee.
ADU in without
For
having to
cladding.
add another thing, and I don't
If
know.
it's the same address, right, is the thing.
Well, no, it'll have like a half, it'll have two addresses, but you can hook, so you only have to have one hookup now to have two homes on the same lot, where before you didn't. So we have people who have two homes who are paying twice, and then we have people who have two homes and one hookup, and they're only paying once. So how do we make it fair, and how do we catch those, and what do we do? And,
Without making it an unreasonable
right.
workload
And,
on staff.
a lot of towns that we found, and did some research, was that they go by residential lot.
Lots.
Like, you get one garbage can, and if it starts to overflow, they're gonna make you get two. And, a lot of those cities and towns also, the garbage trucks had cameras on
But
them,
only billings,
only billing,
That's
so
all.
they could tell the ones that were consistently full.
right.
Is that
And
usually
needed
like
two.
fourplex?
Ours actually have cameras on them, but it's to make sure that it empties.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So they do have the camera, but like I said, if you have an ADU, does that need two cans? Does it need one can? And we have to build that into our contracts.
Yeah. So these are the
Okay, that's once a
conversations we
year.
need to have,
Gotcha.
because people are,
Well, I drove by that ADU, that infamous ADU, and there's one can outside. So,
What's the infamous one?
the one in the alley.
oh.
I was also,
But, then, we have one lot, like on the buildings across from 19th Street, they have a can for every one of those units out back. I noticed that, and so,
Her point was if you want, you can have as many as you want if you want to pay for them.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And right now, and it's practice, it's not documented, but like if you have, I want to say it's a fourplex or more, you have the option of doing a commercial can and
Mhm.
having a separate contract with them rather than the city doing that. And then there's part of it that we don't want to inject ourselves.
In an apartment building.
Well, we don't want to inject ourselves, so let's, for instance, could they get a better deal if all the restaurants were part of the city contract? Yeah, but we don't want to go there. That's not,
Yeah.
that's not a service and
Well,
level of load.
and if you have, and I think that, for example, the one on 19th Street, because they're all in one lot, and technically however many houses there, they could just get a dumpster and not have multiple cans, right? If they
Yeah.
wanted to, even though
Yeah.
they're not attached to each other.
Yeah, I think, and again, it's not documented is the problem.
Yeah,
There's-
we want
there's-
those
Our history
in
and
there.
practice was, if it's four or more, they have the option
Yeah.
of not being automatically included in the city
It's the
contract.
quad part. I gotta go let out
Okay.
2 dogs
Okay.
before the meeting.
We will, any other public comments before we adjourn? Anyone? Okay, all right, we'll go ahead and adjourn. Thank you so much,
Thanks,
and we'll
everybody.
bring up